The fire wasn't just a distant danger, it was alive, breathing down their necks with an intensity that turned the sky an eerie shade of orange. Ash floated like snowflakes in the heavy air, settling on cars and clinging to panicked faces. The sound of crackling flames and wailing sirens created a chaotic symphony that was impossible to ignore. For Laura and Michael, this was no ordinary day. It was a fight for survival. They didn't know if they would make it out, but they couldn't afford to stop moving. With their 2 young children bundled into the back seat of their battered sedan, the couple sped down a narrow road veiled in smoke. The fire was relentless, devouring everything in its path: trees, homes, memories. Each glance in the rearview mirror brought more dread, the flames creeping closer. Laura kept her hand firmly on their youngest shoulder, whispering reassurances even as her own voice trembled. And then, it happened. The engine sputtered, coughed, and died. The car rolled to a halt, and the silence was deafening. Michael jumped out, the hood of the car popping open with a metallic groan. The sight of smoke, not from the fire, but from their car's engine, felt like a cruel joke. Laura tried to soothe the crying children while Michael, covered in sweat and ash, frantically fiddled with the engine. But deep down, they both knew the truth. They were stranded, with the inferno bearing down on them. Cars whizzed by, their drivers too consumed by their own fear to stop. Laura leaned out of the window, waving desperately, her voice hoarse from calling for help. "Please, stop. We need help." But no one slowed, and the hopelessness in her voice grew heavier with each passing moment. Just as the fire seemed to inch closer, its heat palpable even from afar, the faint rumble of a truck broke through the din. A battered pickup rolled into view, its headlights piercing the thick haze. It stopped a few feet away, and the driver stepped out, a man in a simple jacket and a baseball cap, his presence calm yet commanding amidst the chaos. "You folks need a hand?" he asked, his voice steady, cutting through the panic like a lifeline. Michael, his resolve nearly broken, nodded. "Our car broke down. We were trying to evacuate." The man's sharp eyes took in the scene in a single sweep. "Grab what you can," he said, his tone leaving no room for argument. "I'll get you out of here." Without hesitation, Laura and Michael gathered their children in suitcases. The stranger helped load their belongings into the truck bed with swift efficiency, his movements calm yet deliberate. Once everyone was settled, he navigated the narrow, smoke-filled roads with a confidence that reassured them. Occasionally, he glanced back to check on the children, offering a kind smile. "We'll be at the evacuation center in an hour," he assured Laura, who clutched her youngest tightly. True to his word, the man arrived at a crowded evacuation center. He parked the truck and helped the family unload their things, handing the children bottles of water. He gave Laura a small nod. "You're safe now," he said before disappearing into the crowd. Laura turned to Michael. "Who was he?" she asked, scanning the throng of evacuees. But the man was gone, his pickup blending seamlessly into the background. Michael shook his head, a flicker of gratitude mixed with disbelief. Whoever he was, he saved us. It wasn't until days later, amidst whispers in the evacuation center, that they learned the identity of their rescuer. Their savior was none other than Keanu Reeves, the actor known for his humility and quiet acts of kindness. The revelation left them stunned, but the recognition of his gesture deepened their gratitude. The evacuation center was a stark reflection of the devastation, crowded and stifling. It buzzed with the murmur of worried families. Children tried to play in the cramped quarters, their laughter strained under the weight of their parents' anxiety. Laura and Michael, still reeling from the escape, clung to each other for strength. One morning, Michael decided to return to what was left of their home. The journey was grim, the roads littered with debris, and the air heavy with the scent of ash. When he returned to the center, his face was pale, his eyes hollow. Without a word, he handed Laura his phone. On the screen was a photo of a charred foundation, the remains of their house. "The fire took everything," he whispered, his voice breaking. "It's all gone." Laura embraced him, tears streaming down her face. The weight of their loss was suffocating. Their savings were meager, and the idea of rebuilding seemed impossible. How do we even start again? She asked, her voice trembling. Michael shook his head, unable to find an answer. At the evacuation center, they met other families who had suffered similar losses. Strangers shared clothes, advice, and stories of survival. Yet, despite the support, Laura and Michael felt adrift, their future uncertain. Their savings wouldn't cover rent, let alone the cost of rebuilding their lives. Everything they had brought with them in the car was now useless. Days turned into weeks, and the couple found themselves caught in the limbo of waiting. Michael tried to remain optimistic, but Laura could see the cracks in his facade. Each piece of news about the fire's devastation chipped away at their hope. Then, one day, as they sat quietly watching their children play with makeshift toys, a volunteer approached them. "There's a man asking about families who lost everything," she said. "He's helping people rebuild." Laura and Michael exchanged a glance before following the volunteer. To their astonishment, they found themselves face to face with the same man who had rescued them. Keanu stood with his hands in his pockets, his expression kind but purposeful. "You helped us," Michael said, his voice filled with emotion. "Why?" Keanu offered a small smile. "Because I could," he replied simply. "No one should have to face this alone." Over the following weeks, Keanu arranged for donations, connected them with charities, and even helped coordinate temporary housing. His involvement went beyond financial assistance. He listened to their fears, offered practical advice, and reminded them of their resilience. "Rebuilding takes time," he told them during one meeting, "but you've already survived the worst of it. That's something no fire can take away." Slowly but surely, Laura and Michael began to rebuild, not just their home, but their sense of hope. They learned to lean on the kindness of strangers and the strength within themselves. Keanu's quiet generosity became a beacon in their darkest hour, a reminder that even amidst devastation, humanity endures. The soft hum of voices filled the crowded evacuation center as Laura tucked her children into the thin blankets provided by volunteers. It was another restless night in a place where hope seemed to ebb and flow like the shifting smoke outside. The children's questions about when they could return home cut through her heart like a blade. She had no answers, just a lump in her throat and the silent prayer that things would somehow get better. As Laura struggled to find comforting words, the door to the center creaked open, letting in a gust of cold night air. A familiar figure stepped in, a man in a simple baseball cap and the same worn jacket she had seen before. Her breath caught in her chest. "Michael," she whispered, nudging her husband. "It's him." Michael looked up, his eyes widening in recognition. The stranger who had appeared out of nowhere to rescue them in their darkest moment was now standing just a few feet away. He approached with a warm, apologetic smile. "Sorry to drop in unannounced," he said gently. "I couldn't stop thinking about your family. I just wanted to check on you." Laura stood, her voice shaking with both disbelief and gratitude. "You're here again. Thank you. I don't even know your name." The man extended a hand, his sincerity shining through every word. "Keanu," he said simply. "Keanu Reeves." The name hit like a thunderclap, and Michael and Laura exchanged stunned glances. They couldn't believe that the humble stranger who had helped them escape the wildfire was, in fact, the world-famous actor. But Keanu's demeanor remained grounded, his voice calm. "I wanted to see how you were holding up," he continued. "I know things must be difficult right now, and if there's anything I can do to make it easier, please let me know." Michael hesitated, torn between pride and desperation. But Keanu's genuine kindness broke through his reluctance. "Our house," Michael began, his voice cracking. "It's gone, burned to the ground. The car's ruined, and we don't even know where we'll go after this center." Keanu nodded, his expression thoughtful but never pitying. "I can't imagine what you're going through," he said softly, "but I'd like to help you rebuild, starting with finding you a safe place to live." The next morning, Keanu returned with news. He had contacted a local charity specializing in helping wildfire victims and arranged for Laura and Michael to meet with them. Within hours, the charity had secured temporary housing, a modest but cozy home in a family-friendly neighborhood. The house, though small, felt like a palace to the family. The children ran through the rooms, their laughter echoing for the first time in what felt like forever. But Keanu's generosity didn't stop there. He personally covered the rent for the next 6 months and even furnished the home with essential items, from a comfortable sofa to a dining table where the family could share meals. Keanu thought of everything. He even found a local mechanic to repair their car, ensuring they had reliable transportation again. When the family stepped into their new home for the first time, tears streamed down Laura's face. She hugged Keanu tightly, her voice choked with emotion. "This is more than we could have ever imagined," she whispered. "You've saved us again." Keanu, as always, remained humble. "I'm just glad I could help," he said with a warm smile. "You're the ones who've shown real strength." In the days that followed, Keanu continued to support the family in ways that transformed their lives. Through his connections, he helped Michael secure a stable job with a local construction company, providing the family with a steady income. The opportunity allowed them to start saving for their future, a prospect that once felt impossibly out of reach. Inspired by Keanu's kindness, Laura began volunteering with the same charity that had helped them. She worked tirelessly to support other families who had lost everything, channeling her gratitude into action. "If we can make a difference for even one family," she told Michael one evening, "it'll be worth it." A few weeks later, Keanu surprised the family again, this time with a celebratory dinner. He wanted to mark their new beginning and remind them that even in the darkest times, kindness and humanity could shine through. The dinner was simple but filled with warmth and laughter, a stark contrast to the uncertainty they had faced just weeks earlier. As they shared stories and clinked glasses, Laura looked across the table at Keanu. "We'll never forget what you've done for us," she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "You didn't just give us a home, you gave us hope. You restored our faith in people." Keanu smiled, his eyes reflecting genuine admiration for the family. "You've shown incredible resilience," he replied. "I just wanted to help, but you're the ones who chose not to give up. You're building a new chapter, and that takes real courage." For Laura and Michael, this chapter marked the beginning of a life filled with gratitude and purpose. They carried Keanu's kindness with them, not as a debt to repay, but as a reminder of the good that still exists in the world. Their children grew up knowing the value of compassion, their laughter a testament to the resilience of a family that had faced unimaginable loss and emerged stronger. The weeks that followed marked a journey of healing and transformation for Laura, Michael, and their children. Thanks to Keanu Reeves' unwavering support, they began to rebuild not only their lives, but also their belief in a brighter future. Their new home, now filled with the laughter of children, became a sanctuary of gratitude and hope. Each morning, the sound of giggles echoed through the house as the kids explored their new space. Their excitement palpable, they raced through the rooms, claimed corners as their own, and reveled in the open yard where they could play freely. For Laura and Michael, seeing their children smile again was like watching light return to a world that had been cloaked in darkness. But life outside the warmth of their home still held challenges. Michael, now working at a local construction company, threw himself into his new responsibilities. Every day, he arrived early and stayed late, eager to prove himself and provide for his family. One evening, he returned home with surprising news. "My boss said he heard about us," Michael began, his voice laced with both astonishment and emotion. "Keanu spoke to him about our situation, and he offered me a promotion. He said it's his way of helping us get back on our feet." The gesture left Michael deeply moved. For the first time in months, he felt his hard work was being acknowledged, and the prospect of stability no longer seemed so far away. Meanwhile, Laura found her own way to give back, inspired by the kindness she had received. She began volunteering at the local fire station, helping families who, like hers, had lost everything to the wildfires. Her empathy and compassion quickly caught the attention of the center's coordinators. They soon offered her a permanent position, providing not only an opportunity to help others, but also an additional income to support her family. Keanu, ever present in their lives, continued to be both a financial and emotional pillar of support. He facilitated meetings with charities and organizations that provided long-term aid to disaster victims. At one of these gatherings, Laura was invited to share her story, standing before a room of strangers. She spoke of the fire that had taken everything, the despair that had followed, and the stranger who had shown them hope. "Keanu didn't just give us a home," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "He gave us the strength to believe in humanity again." Her heartfelt words resonated deeply with the audience. One organization was so moved that they offered funding to create a program for psychological support for affected families, appointing Laura as its coordinator. This role brought her a renewed sense of purpose, and she quickly became a beacon of hope for others. Keanu's involvement didn't stop there. Recognizing the potential in Laura and Michael's children, he arranged for scholarships that opened doors to new opportunities. Their eldest son began taking art classes, where he learned to channel his emotions into his work. His paintings, vivid and full of raw emotion, were later displayed in a local exhibit. "This experience taught me what truly matters: family and resilience," he shared at the event, his voice steady but filled with gratitude. The family's journey became an inspiration for others. Laura and Michael started hosting support meetings for local families, sharing practical advice on how to navigate the road to recovery. During one of these gatherings, Keanu made a surprise appearance. As he addressed the room, his words were simple yet profound. "What you've created here," he said, gesturing to the group, "is proof of how powerful community can be. Together, we can overcome even the hardest challenges." A few months later, Laura and Michael hosted a housewarming party to celebrate their new beginning. Their home, now filled with the warmth of new friends, colleagues, and supporters, stood as a testament to their resilience. Over dinner, Laura raised a glass and spoke. "This house isn't just a place to live," she said, her voice steady with conviction. "It's a symbol of the kindness that saved us when we had nothing left." Keanu, visibly moved by her words, responded with a quiet smile. "I just did what I thought was right," he said. "The real heroes here are you and your family. You didn't give up. You took the hardest step, starting over." In the wake of witnessing Laura and Michael's resilience, Keanu Reeves felt compelled to do more, not just for them, but for the countless families impacted by natural disasters. Inspired by their strength, he established a foundation dedicated to disaster recovery. The foundation aimed to provide not only financial aid for rebuilding homes, but also psychological support for those grappling with the emotional toll of such tragedies. At the foundation's inaugural event, Keanu spoke with heartfelt conviction. "Each of us holds the power to make the world a better place," he said. "This isn't just about rebuilding houses. It's about rebuilding lives and showing that even after the darkest moments, hope can rise again." His words resonated deeply, sparking a movement within the community. Laura quickly became the face of the foundation's new psychological support program. Drawing from her own experience, she organized meetings with families who had survived the devastating wildfire, sharing her journey and helping others find the strength to move forward. Her story of perseverance inspired many, offering hope to those who felt trapped in despair. Meanwhile, Michael assumed the role of project coordinator for the foundation's construction initiatives. With his background in construction, he oversaw the building of dozens of new homes for families who had lost everything. His practical knowledge and hands-on leadership ensured that these houses were more than just shelters. They became safe havens for rebuilding lives. The foundation's initiatives fostered an unprecedented sense of unity in the local community. Volunteers of all ages came together to build homes, plant trees, and revitalize areas scorched by the fire. These events became more than just service projects. They were symbols of collective resilience. People from all walks of life worked side by side, united by a shared purpose. At one of these events, Keanu reunited with Laura and Michael as they planted trees in a barren landscape once consumed by flames. Together, they planted saplings where a lush forest had stood before. Each tree symbolized not just nature's recovery, but the enduring strength of human connection. "This tree will grow strong and beautiful," Keanu said, gently patting the soil around a sapling. "Just like you've grown stronger through these trials." His words carried a quiet reverence, a reminder that even in destruction, there is the potential for renewal. A year after the wildfire, Laura, Michael, and the community organized a festival of gratitude to honor those who had contributed to their recovery efforts, held in a park that had become a symbol of resilience. The event was a joyous celebration of unity and new beginnings. Keanu, the evening's guest of honor, delivered a speech that left no one untouched. This story is proof of humanity's ability to overcome even the greatest challenges, he said, his voice steady but full of emotion. Each of you is a hero of this community, and I'm proud to stand with you. As the evening progressed, the community held a charity auction to support the foundation's ongoing projects. Among the items auctioned was a treasured family heirloom donated by Laura and Michael, a gesture that exemplified their commitment to helping others. The auction raised significant funds, ensuring the foundation could continue its vital work. In the years that followed, the foundation became a beacon of hope, touching countless lives. Keanu remained deeply involved, though he often downplayed his role. "I didn't change your lives," he would tell Laura and Michael. "Your strength and determination made this possible." Laura and Michael, now symbols of resilience and recovery, became advocates for the foundation, sharing their story worldwide. Their journey inspired others to find hope, even in the face of unimaginable loss. Laura's psychological support program expanded, offering resources to communities across the country. Michael continued to lead construction projects, helping to rebuild neighborhoods and restore a sense of normalcy to families in need. Years passed, but the memory of the wildfire never faded. It was a reminder of what they had lost, but also of what they had gained. The once devastated community now thrived, its growth fueled by the collective strength of its members. One evening, Keanu visited Laura and Michael's home, now filled with laughter and warmth. They reflected on how far they had come since that harrowing night. "This isn't just a house," Laura said, her voice filled with emotion. "It's a symbol of the kindness that saved us when we had nothing left." Keanu smiled, his humility as evident as ever. "I just did what felt right," he replied. "But the real heroes are you too. You didn't give up. You built a new life out of the ashes." The wildfire that once destroyed their neighborhood had long since burned out, but its legacy was one of transformation. Keanu's foundation continued to grow, its impact reaching far beyond Los Angeles. Laura and Michael, armed with gratitude and strength, remained devoted to helping others, their story a testament to the power of compassion and the resilience of the human spirit. For Laura and Michael, the period following their devastating loss was both a test of resilience and a blessing in disguise. The unwavering support of Keanu Reeves and the foundation he created not only helped rebuild their lives, but also inspired countless others. With Keanu's guidance, the couple transformed their tragedy into a powerful story of recovery, growth, and impact. Michael's journey in the construction industry became a symbol of determination and purpose. With his dedication and the mentorship he received after the fire, he quickly rose to become a top manager at the company where he worked. Drawing from his experience, Michael spearheaded a comprehensive housing renovation program designed to assist families affected by disasters. His vision and leadership not only helped restore homes, but also created a sense of stability and hope for those in need. Laura's focus turned to the psychological recovery of families who, like her own, had endured life-altering losses. As the head of the foundation's psychological support program, she provided hundreds of families with the tools to overcome trauma and rebuild their emotional well-being. Her efforts expanded beyond her local community. She began traveling across the country, training new volunteers to extend the reach of the program. Her story of resilience became a guiding light for many, proving that even in the darkest moments, strength and compassion could prevail. The couple's children, too, found profound inspiration in their experiences. Their eldest son, deeply moved by the events and their aftermath, became an artist whose work celebrated the resilience of humanity. His pieces, which depicted themes of survival and hope, earned acclaim in galleries nationwide. Meanwhile, their youngest daughter, who had always shown a nurturing spirit, decided to pursue a career in medicine, driven by a desire to support those in need during their most vulnerable times. What began as a local initiative blossomed into a global organization under Keanu's leadership. The foundation expanded its projects to include international efforts, offering aid to victims of natural disasters worldwide, from building homes and training volunteers to implementing disaster prevention programs. The foundation became a beacon of hope for communities across the globe. Many of these initiatives were directly inspired by the experiences of Laura and Michael, who remained integral to the foundation's mission. Despite his public stature, Keanu continued to stay grounded, actively visiting communities that received aid. He often emphasized that the true heroes were the individuals who faced adversity head-on and extended a hand to others. His humility and dedication earned widespread respect and further strengthened the foundation's impact. On the anniversary of the foundation's creation, a large event was held in Los Angeles to honor its accomplishments and the resilience of those it served. The evening was a vibrant celebration of humanity's strength, unity, and compassion. Laura, Michael, and their children were invited as guests of honor, their story taking center stage. When Laura and Michael shared their memories of the fire and its aftermath, they spoke candidly about how Keanu's kindness had changed their lives. "He didn't just help us rebuild a house," Michael said, his voice filled with emotion. "He helped us rebuild our lives." Keanu, in his keynote address, captured the essence of the event. This story began with a fire that threatened to destroy everything. But fire cannot destroy humanity. It cannot extinguish kindness or the strength of a community. This family is proof that even in the darkest moments, light can shine through, and each of you here today is a part of that light. The evening concluded with an auction, with all proceeds going to support the foundation's future initiatives. Laura and Michael contributed a cherished family heirloom, a gesture that underscored their gratitude and commitment to giving back. The funds raised ensured that the foundation's mission would continue to touch lives for years to come. Inspired by the response to their story, Laura and Michael decided to write a book about their experience. The book, which chronicled their journey from despair to recovery, resonated with readers worldwide. It became a bestseller, offering hope and motivation to those facing their own struggles. True to their values, the couple donated all proceeds to the foundation, ensuring that their story would continue to support others in need. Keanu often reflected on the remarkable journey of Laura, Michael, and their children, frequently highlighting their story as a testament to how humanity and kindness could transform lives. "I didn't change their lives," he would say with characteristic humility. "Their strength, courage, and determination made this possible." To him, they were not just survivors, but symbols of resilience, a beacon of hope for others facing their darkest days. Years later, the neighborhood that once lay in ruins had blossomed into a vibrant community. Through the collective efforts of its residents and the unwavering support of the foundation, the area had been transformed into a symbol of renewal and unity. Families who had lost everything now lived in homes built on the foundation of compassion, and the scars of the fire served as reminders of the strength that came from shared adversity. Laura and Michael emerged as pillars of this revitalized community, celebrated not only for their own perseverance, but for their tireless efforts to lift others along the way. Their home, once reduced to ash, became a haven of warmth, laughter, and hope. It stood as a powerful testament to the healing power of unity and the unbreakable spirit of those who refuse to give up. Within its walls, memories of struggle intertwined with joy, creating a space that radiated gratitude for the community that had rallied around them in their time of need. Keanu's initial act of kindness had grown into a global movement, reaching far beyond the boundaries of their neighborhood. The foundation he had started continued to touch countless lives, building homes, offering psychological support, and fostering resilience in communities affected by disasters worldwide. Despite the overwhelming impact of his work, Keanu remained grounded, always redirecting the spotlight to the courage and strength of the individuals and families he served. To him, they were the true heroes, the ones who found the courage to rebuild and inspire others to do the same. Over time, Laura and Michael's story became a timeless reminder of what was possible when compassion and determination met. Their lives, shaped by a tragedy that once seemed insurmountable, evolved into a narrative of hope and transformation. From local schools to international conferences, Their story was shared as an example of the extraordinary power of human connection. The ripple effect of their journey spread far and wide. Their resilience inspired neighbors to become more involved in their communities, encouraged volunteers to take action, and reminded everyone that no act of kindness was ever too small to make a difference. What began as a single gesture of compassion had sparked a chain reaction that brought people together across continents, united by a shared belief in the power of good. As the years went by, Laura and Michael took on even more significant roles in the foundation, mentoring families and coordinating recovery programs. Their children, too, grew into roles that reflected the lessons they had learned from their parents' journey. Their eldest son used his art to advocate for environmental recovery and community resilience, while their youngest daughter pursued a medical career, determined to provide support to those in need. Together, the family became a symbol of what could be achieved when hope and hard work replaced despair. Keanu, in his quiet yet impactful way, continued to amplify their story. "This family shows us what's possible," he would often say. From the ashes of loss, they built a legacy of hope that reaches far beyond their home. His words resonated with audiences everywhere, reminding people that even in the face of unimaginable challenges, there was always a path forward. The message of their journey was unmistakable. Even from the deepest pain, new beginnings are possible. With the support of others and the will to persevere, anyone can rise stronger than ever before, carrying the light of hope for themselves and those around them.